this is officially the 50th time I'm trying to record this because people in my house forgot what manners are like. Okay, so using this one to get to that, not that hard, just 2 marks. So what you're going to do here, I don't know why I circled the 2 marker. Okay, so what you're going to do here is you are going to write it out first, because that's the one thing I like to do in maths anyways. So I'm going to just write this one out first. So it's going to be cos squared theta plus sine squared theta is equal to 1. Remember, I said they forgot the manners. So remember, when you get something like this, right, they already told you they already want you to use this to get to that. Remember what this sort of has. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say here is that you already know that tan squared theta in maths is another way of saying sine squared theta divided by cos squared theta. Okay, and for example, sec squared theta is another way of saying 1 over cos squared theta. Manners. So I like the way I'm getting ignored. All right, so cos squared theta plus I cannot do this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Do not screw it. I'm gonna do it still. Okay, so cos squared theta. So basically, both of these things have the cos squared theta in common, which basically gives you an instant indication that that is what we're gonna do here to get to that. So we're just gonna divide everything here by cos squared theta, which is basically 1 plus tan squared theta. I'm not gonna write it out this time because I'm just cannot be asked. You can blame my mum and my sister for that. Okay, so you basically got sec squared theta. In other words, you basically got what they wanted you to get, but remember they've written out a specific way, so you basically just need to rearrange it, which is tan squared theta minus, or sorry, I should say sec squared theta minus 1. Okay, now that's your 2 marks. In reality, it should not take you more than a minute to work this out, to work this out or to make the connections. That's why practicing again and again and again is the main key when it comes to doing maths questions. You just practice and you'll sort of get it. And yeah, you won't have to remember you don't have to memorize a big number of of formulas and identities and all that, because it should be sort of second nature to you when you should be doing A-level maths, especially when you're doing A-level maths. Anyway, so then it says solve for blah blah blah, the equation, da da da. They've given you this equation. Now in maths and chemistry, you always will have to, not always, but you will pretty much all the time will have to use the first part of the question. So whatever you got for the first part of the question is always going to have to be linked to the second part of the question, because the examiners want you to think in a particular way. They've given you an order to think through. And them using these little parts, these little questions, basically them telling you to do just that. So we've already know that this is basically the first part of the question, but it says to solve the equation. What we can do is we can just substitute tan squared theta, because we've got tan squared theta is equal to sec squared theta minus 1. Now remember, whenever you're solving equations like these, whatever is the lowest part, or whatever is the lowest power of the whole formula or the equation, you will always have to use that as the common sort of term. So if this was, if the equation was flipped around to say, I don't know, say 2 sec squared theta plus 4 tan squared theta plus sec squared plus tan squared theta, you basically go for the tan squared theta. But here we're going to go for the sec squared theta. So we want everything in sec squared or sec terms, I should say. Okay, so we know that 2, is going to be sec squared theta minus 1 plus 4 sec theta plus sec squared theta minus 2, because we want everything to equal to 2. We basically just took that 2 to that side, okay? I just fast forwarded it a little bit. In other words, you should be getting, after you tidy everything that I just written out, you should be getting 3 sec squared theta. Then it was 4 sec theta, wasn't it? 4 sec theta, and then it should be it was minus 4, wasn't it? Yeah, it was minus 4 because anyways, so yeah, that's that. Now what you do is that you can sort of substitute. So you can just basically go for let sec squared or let sec theta equal x. Again, what the hell is wrong with this? So let sec theta equal x. You basically just substitute that, and then that can make your life much more easier. However, you need to remember that when you get to the end of the question, so when you actually get the answers, you need to sort of substitute them back into this little thingamabob you just made to make your life easier. Because most students just say, oh yeah, x is equal to da 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 da. But no, that's wrong, because remember, because that's not the actual answer. That's what we did to get to the answer, but that's not the actual answer. Okay, so in other words, you should be coming up with a quadratic, coming a quadratic that came to be somewhere was 3 sec square theta plus 4 sec theta minus 4, was it, equals 0. But here you need to solve it, and whenever you solve, it's really easy because 3x here, x here was minus 4, wasn't it? So it's going to be plus 2 here, yep, and then minus 2, that would work out because minus 4, that would be plus 2, yeah, okay, that would be cool. And then basically what you do here is you should know that x equals 2 values. X equals to 2 divided by 3, and x is equal to minus 2. But remember, that's not the answer because we did say x is equal to sec theta here, so sec theta is equal to x. So basically it's going to be 2/3 is equal to 1 over cos. I'm just writing it for the sake of it, by the way. I know most people just like to sort of shorten it, but I'm just doing it for the long way around. So we're going to do minus 2 is equal to 1 over cos. 1 over cos theta. Okay, in other words, you can just flip it because that's going to make your life so much easy. Cos theta is equal to 3 over 2. And then it's also equal to a minus a half. Okay, minus a half. Now, obviously, if you plug that in, you will know that there is no solution for this one. So this one does not work at all. You can sort of ignore that. But for the minus a half, if you just sort of do cos inverse, that theta is actually equal to 120 because they do want it in 360. So that's 120. So you can use the formula, or you can use, the graph. So it's going to be 120, and I think it's going to be 240. Okay, those are your answers for the 6 marker. Think about it, it's not really that hard. The most complicated bit, I would say, is just, it's not even complicated. The most sort of like the confusing bit is that you need to sort of work your way through, what is equal to sec theta, what is equal to tan squared e theta. But if you go through all that, you just realize it's just basic GCSE level maths, just sort of wormed into a more complicated question, but at the very end it's actually just the basics. Okay, so that's for today.